Welcome to another day. Bit of a hot, sticky one, but I guess it's better than raining. We're going to continue on with our painting adventure. Clean up some of this mess that we got rained on yesterday. Yeah, this is oh god, it's becoming a real pain, to be honest. I have a lot of little projects that we can do. You know, we can dodge rainstorms if that's what it be. But, you know, we've got to get this paint done. And we check out the weather in the morning and it's like, you know, okay, all afternoon it's going to be fine. When we get out here, it should be no problems. I mean, we're past the summer storms. We've already had those. I don't know why they're continuing on in the afternoon like we live in Florida or something. But that's the way it's been. All right, there's my rant. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get my paint mixed up. I'm going to try to put this down again today. Get this done. Like I said before, I have to get the transom painted on the inside, so when we put all these things in, I'm not painting around them. It's just, you know, extra work, extra work, extra work. I know I want some bling bling to, you know, kind of make me feel better. And that, not only that, but I got boxes of stuff in the garage I really just want to get out. You know, I mean, there's just no reason for this stuff to sit around and get damaged, fall over places. A lot of these things that are just sitting around in the garage are just taking up space, needed space for this wintertime. If it's not in my garage and it's actually attached to the boat, then I don't have to worry about it getting lost any longer. So, like I said, if I can get this painted, then I can get all these things installed. When the bow cleat arrives, then we can put all that together. The bow will be done. The deck will be done. Everything will be done. I mean, the only thing that will be from there forward will be the dashboard. Lucky enough, yesterday we did get to do the backs of these, so it'll be easy to flip them boys over and just go ahead and do the fronts today. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and mix up some paint and get started here. So instead of raining today, it's 155 degrees out with 137% humidity. But we did go ahead and get a full single layer on everything. Yeah, it was a bit of a challenge because it was actually going off in the tray because of the sunlight. Which it doesn't look so bad. We're going to put another coat on it. Then of course this stuff, you know, it's going to be a little rough on here and there. I mean, it'll take a couple scrubbings and all that good stuff, but I mean, there's a lot more to do to this boat, so there'll be a lot more scrubbings and stuff like that going on. It was getting very hot and very fumey. I actually had to get out my big fan here and blow some of them fumes out. I was kind of getting a little lightheaded and not in a good way. In the process, like I was saying before, I'm trying to get the things out of the way that require pulling out more tools, more everything than it seems like they're really worth. Like in this cleat situation, once again, I have to get out my square, tape measure, tape, drills. And I'll have to cut the all threaded to the length, so I'll have to get out my grinder and cut off wheel, and I have to shape the end so it's not so sharp, so I'll have to get out my bench grinder. Yeah, it's just a whole bunch of little things to do for one tiny thing, and it'll be that cleat. As I said, the rest of the stuff, as I said before, you know, you put a piece in, you hook a hose to it. This one's a lot different. Like I said, we never even drilled the holes for it. It never even kind of crossed my mind back when I was doing it to make that piece and drill holes for it. So yeah, we're doing it after the fact. It's not the best way to do it, but it's something that has to be done. So we went ahead and got a nice square line up and down to work off of, and then used our square and got a nice line to go across that way, so it's nice and square with everything else. And now we actually have to drill 2 holes in the transom, which we are not looking forward to. I'm just trying to give the paint as much time as I can to go off. I mean, I just backed into a lid here and it didn't transfer to me, so I think it's pretty good. But yeah, I gotta drill 2 holes in the transom. No fun there. Well, in full disclosure, as usual, my bracket that I made here is a fail. Everything's perfect about it, except for this. When you line up the holes, the all thread and the nut ends up being right where the freshwater input goes. I mean, it's an easy fix, an easy long fix. It needs to be moved up about this far. Since I've already drilled my holes, I have to make sure they stay square and just be picked up. But it's a fail. and we will be grinding and welding on this thing in a few minutes while the rest of the boat dries, I guess. We were just in the middle of putting the missing nuts on the windshield just to get them out of the way, and yeah, it was like drop on the top over here on my 19, and then it just crackled, bam, and everything just fell. Well, as I said, we were expecting it, and I saw it on radar. They said 15-20 minutes before it got here. It's about right on time, so for once they were actually right, but for once I wish they were wrong, because it was outside kind of cool and it was nice to do some painting, but apparently not now. So we worked on our bracket some, and yes, we've extended it and it fits. We had to do a little tweaking here and there, but we finally got it fit in place. Put a couple coats of paint on it before the rain came, but at the moment it's still kind of wet, and we just dumped everything from our windshield expedition right here on the floor because we didn't have any other option. So I got some cleaning up to do, and I guess it's pretty much a night at this point. Yeah, it's 6:45. There's nothing left to do at this point. It's supposed to rain for the next 2 hours anyway, so we will see you again tomorrow. No sense in wasting a good rainstorm. So I fixed my lawnmower. New carburetor. Purring like a kitten. Now with all this rain, my yard will grow and I'll have to use it. Welcome to another wet day. Yeah, it hasn't rained in about 18 hours, and yet everything is still sopping wet. I mean, look at the ground. It's just humid as all get out. And with that, it's having a hard time getting things to dry up. I've already gone ahead and got my paint mixed up to do another coat. Towel dried everything, got my fan going. Yeah, as I said, this is turning into a bit of a challenge. So while I'm waiting for my paint to set up, because I always love to add a little of this. It used to be Valspar, now it's Krylon Farm Implement, to get my Rust-Oleum to dry up like single stage, and it really does too. It's amazing. And as I said, it dried in 20 minutes and then got rained on. And when I went back to walk on it again, it was completely dry. So, and that's not so bad. But while we're waiting for this paint to kick off, because you mix it up and you wait 20 minutes, we're going to try to get our tie down U-bolts installed, because they're one thing we can't actually reach when the deck and everything in the motor box is wet. We can do a lot of this from the outside. And the next thing, honestly, is, and I'm just getting these guys out of the way, the next thing is going to be that cleat. I want this cleat installed, and it's going to get installed. And just keep moving along. Yeah, just keep moving along. Well, we did get a coat down. I think this is probably where I'm going to stop until we're getting towards the finishing stage. It's the sides are done well enough. Everything up underneath is done well enough. Everything, you know, out of the way. The motor box is really good. As I said, but it will take some damage. I mean, like when I was working on that, I used a grinder on the windshield to grind off one of the studs before it rained yesterday, and bam, I got rust spots everywhere. So, you know, I mean, I could have got them up, but it wasn't even worth it. You know, I just wiped them up with a towel and what I could, and I just painted over them, so it's no big deal. So that's where we're at now. We're trying to let some of this paint go off a little bit. It is, yep, just a tiny bit still tacky. We did go ahead and get our tie downs put in on both sides here. So they're done, because the rest of it actually requires the painted areas to really be done. Like a couple of these are hoses. I am probably going to play with the vents also. I can get those done. But I mean, I got to do the wiring for the light. I mean, I can do the wiring in the garage for the light, but I mean, I actually need to walk around down the deck and get it all up in the area where it's supposed to be. That's not going to happen today. It's so humid out here though. It's really taking a while for this stuff, which usually it's very unusual for that. I mean, it's drying. Trust me, oil base paint would not even dry. I mean, you can't even paint on a day like today because it's too humid. It would stay tacky forever. This will be dry in a couple hours, but you know, nothing I want to walk on now. So that's where I'm at. We're just going to start looking for pieces in the box that we can get rid of and get rid of them. Well, welcome back to Florida. I would say around July or August, where we're getting our afternoon thunderstorms rolling in. And unlike Florida, where they pass in 15 minutes, these look like they'll probably stay here for a while. Yay. So I went ahead and I got our cleat installed. It's an interesting little setup we got going on here. As you can see, it comes down with some all thread down such. Comes through here, bolts through the bottom, and actually transfers that load to these 2 points here, which is actually through the wood of the transom. Hope you got all that, because I'm stretching to show you. Along with that, we went ahead, as I said before, we got our tie downs in, and we started putting in our PVC vent, I don't even want to call them, closer uppers. We like to use these stainless steel vents. You know, they're just basic stamped stainless steel. But I've had other ones and put them on brand new one summer, come back out the next spring after a winter and found them corroded and destroyed. I started buying these and I have them on a 19. I haven't so much as done any polishing or anything to them, and they look exactly like this one. So again, I am pro stainless steel. I hate chrome. And I say that because it wears and it has a problem. You can polish stainless steel back up. Once this chrome's gone off of this, it's gone. There's just my public service announcement. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop you in here. Give it a couple love taps. And then I will put the camera down and clean up the mess. But that's pretty much it. And then from there, I don't want to get any sealant on there, but basically you put it over like so. And if you do seal it, I actually did get sealant on it, darn it. But we'll just show you anyway. It's like that. It's a little backed up a little bit and it doesn't actually sit on the thing like it is right now. So, but that's all you see basically. You can look in there and you just see the little vent. $2 each at Home Depot. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to get these cleaned up before we get pounded on here. And a couple other things I got to get cleaned up and put away, including this lightning rod I have all strewed around me. You know how we are with lightning. Oh God, something just fell on the boat. Yeah. Not fooling around, boys, I'm telling you. Look at the sticks just falling. This just seems endless. But I'm going to work in the garage until I can't find anything else to do. Alright, let's see what the storm left behind for us. Oh. Wonderful. Something to clean up before I call it a night. We'll see you tomorrow. Welcome to another day. Yeah, I got all kinds of things laid out today. Got some chucks, got some electrics, lights. Got to put in my drain tube. Yes, that's something I've been neglecting to do since I got the transom installed. I thought, well, I'm going to hold off and do it after I do paint. Paint's been done for weeks. I still haven't put the drain tube in. That's another thing on the list. And of course I got all these hoses stretched out here, getting ready to do some gas tank work. Got my clamps out here, or my hangers, and I'm pretty good to go on everything. But then something showed up today. Yes, it is my new mini starter, high torque, whatever you want to call it, starter. And I even bought some bolts. Yeah, it's not a big deal, but it is for me because it'll probably take me most of the day. My boat is not accessible for that. That's about one of the things that you really can't get to. Everything else is real easy. I mean, look how open these boats are, you know. This is pretty, when you move the motor box cover, you pretty much got wide open season. But the problem is the starter sits right about here. And that's behind this, and of course there's an exhaust manifold that sits right here also. So it's a bit of a challenge. It's nothing worth filming. maybe I'll show you the end result. But until I get my boat fixed, I really don't feel like working on anything else. So even it's not even really broken. As I said, it's just that intermittent starting thing. It would work fine, and then you just hit the key and you'd be like, did I hit it all the way? Did I screw something up? What the hell did I do? Why didn't it just tick that time? And then you hit it a second time and it starts right up. Hot batteries. Every wire's been checked. Every end's been done. I replaced the ignition switch because I thought it had a dead spot at the end, which it did, and it had its own issues. So you can look back in Raceboat Life history here, and you'll see where we went through that at the end of last year. And it just didn't solve the issue. As I said, first thing I did this year is I came out, I hit the key, and it just did this. Nothing. And I'm like, yeah. The 2000 cold cranking amps, even sitting out here a few months, it would have went click, 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 or something. It just went. So that's my day so far. If I get into anything else, I will update you as it sees fit. Sometimes things go so good you couldn't have planned them better. And I have this technique, and it kind of works, and it kind of doesn't, but I've seemed to have perfected it. Put this strap around it, and you can actually hold the weight up of the starter with the strap, and then you position it back and forth by using the bolt. And I've done that, and it's taken 20-30 minutes to get the bolt to line up and just get right. This time I just picked it up, I put the bolt in behind it, slid it up, and went like this, and it went whoop, and screwed right in. I was like, oh, perfection, perfection. But as I said, that guy is down there. This is what it's like when you get a full motor in here. Everything is accessible. I mean, look, you can do fan belts, you can do everything. But the few issues are, there's no access to the bottom of the motor. But it's in, I just need to get finished wiring, and as long as it doesn't turn into a flaming torch when I actually put power to it, it should be okay, and we can move on from here. Well, this is a little scary. I don't know what the deal is, but they say switch goes to this side, resistor goes to this side. Well, mine's installed about like so, and the switch is on this side. But yeah, nice to have an extra set of instructions with pictures just so you can screw it up even differently. Yeah, I'm not happy about that, I'll be honest. At least I figured out the starter situation, and I went ahead and I used my little hand starter. Got this one just over the winter time. I've never had one, always jumping wires and stuff and frying all kinds of screwdrivers and such to get motors started. Now I actually used it for the first time. Okay, that was on 6 cylinders. Let's try all 8. Yeah, that bad boy just started up on 2 with 2 plug wires laying in the bilge. And I mean that quick too. I love this motor. But now let's try it for real. Well, that worked out, which is a huge plus because I was a little discouraged, thinking that it was a DOA starter. Really didn't want to go through it. I got lucky the first time around, and like right in, so I didn't think it was going to happen 2 times in a row. Sadly, we got weather moving in. There is a lot of thunder going on, so there will be no traveling today. Here, I know the batteries are a little low, and that 10-minute run right there probably didn't do crap. Really needs to be taken out of the bay and run the crap out of. So just to be on the safe side, I'm going to go ahead and hook up a battery charger now and close the boat up before it starts to pour, because it's sounding like it's going to pour at some point here. All in all, a successful day. All right, typical MO for the afternoon around here. I just got done with the 19. Got some battery chargers going in it, which kind of scares me in its own right now. I've got 2 lightning rods in the damn thing. Looks like we're about to get dumped on. It'll be coming in right from over here, right down the channel. Here we go. And to add to the flavor, I bought these nice studs for starters. Always have an issue with these things, I'm telling you. This is the stud, and it actually comes with a double thick washer. Now when you put this guy in here like so, that's how much of the thread sticks out, and about, I don't know, I'd say a 1/4 inch of it is not even threaded in the block, you know. So they actually, you're only going to catch maybe 3/8 of an inch of threading to hold this starter on with these ARP bolts. Yeah, so I went back to my originals. I actually used the spacers off of those though. I like them, so I went ahead and used those. Get something for my $15, because I ain't got something back, so I'm too damn lazy to do that on something like this. And like I said, we weren't going anywhere anyway, because yeah, look at this. This is a mess as usual. It's our typical afternoon hurricane. I'll be seeing you all tomorrow. Welcome to another day. It's dry out at the moment, but we don't know how long that's going to last, because they're pretty much calling for the same forecast we had yesterday. Little result of some garage activity last night. No, it's not the beginning of my soapbox derby dragster here. It's actually going to be the support for the top. And since there's no motor box, I need to have some tall legs in the back, so it just looks a little odd right now. But at least I got that ready. I got the top. We're not going to do it at the moment, because I'm going to go work on some of these things that are sitting on my bench that I'm trying to get rid of. And we'll play that risk game again, but I don't think we're really going to be doing anything too heavy. But I do have some light things. I got some cleats on the bow to get done. Got some wiring, a little bit of lights, you know, we can play with that. Just get all the holes filled. Just get it, you know, everything out of the boxes and get going. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get going. Okay, got my bow cleats installed, and yes, I am starting to fool with some electrics. Sad part about this one, which I just dawned on me like 2 minutes ago, is I don't have the bow light yet. I got most of it, but some of it's still missing. So I bought another one, and we're going to see if we can make a new old one. But I went ahead and I got my rear light all done. Both lines are crimped and then shrink wrapped individually, and then overall shrink wrapped, in which case now it's ready to go back in there, so it'll look pretty there. Gone ahead and got my anchor light all done. It's a short run. It only goes from like right in front of the windshield back to the fuse box, but you got to keep in mind too, you know, you got to keep this in back in my head, that where the switches will be. I want home runs for everything. I don't want to have to put a junction in over here, because I only ran it to the fuse box, which will be on this side because the drivers will be on this side. So we might as well put the fuse box on that side. So I got to make sure everything runs down and then all the way across. So it runs from here all the way up, and then all the way across to where it can get power, you know, or ground, or whatever it needs to go over to here and then back over to here for. I do know a lot of people like to solder their connections. I don't know. I mean, if crimping's good enough for airplanes, and it's got to be good enough for a 50-year-old boat, for God's sakes. And I use crimps in every one of my boats all the way down the line here, and I've never had a crimp failure. Now I've had an end break, you know, one of those hoops or whatever, you know, plugs, what have you, but I've had them break off. But you know, I've never had like a butt connection junction fail, you know. And if it does, I probably look at it like, you know, the wire was probably melting to begin with. So I'm going to continue on with this. We're going to get a couple more pieces in, then I'm going to work on my top a little bit, trying to avoid the rain, but at the same time, I don't know. Don't really care at the moment. I guess you can kind of say we almost gotten used to it. All right, we're about done for the day. No rain. Amazing. So let's give you a little recap of what happened today. We'll start off with what happened last night. We went ahead and got our stand all installed. It's ready to go, as solid as a rock. Still have a little bit of bunk adjustment to do here and there, but that's down the road. We're not so worried about that. Went and got my spare tire hanger. Yeah, 12 bucks, man. Gets rid of that spare tire. I've had to move it all over the place. It's been up here, it's been back here, it's been in a truck. Yeah, it's where it's supposed to be. It's a piece of crap. It needs to be replaced, but at least it's not in the way any longer. With that in thought, we've gone ahead and got our anchor light base mounted. Wiring's all done on the back side. It just needs to be wired into a dashboard that doesn't exist yet. Went ahead and replaced the gasket. As I said before, same situation as in this case. We have a gasket that just came out of a package. And yeah, it's a little lumpy, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but it's installed, and I left it a little full. That way, if it wants to contract or whatever when it gets cool out, it'll have plenty of room to do that. And then we'll have some final adjustment down the road, I'm sure. But at least it's all in one piece, and it's the way it's supposed to be. So that is done as far as I'm concerned, besides some minor adjustments. Was just milliseconds away from getting a top put on this guy, but I found that all these straps need to have eyes put on them. I will do that later in the basement with my upholstery sewing machine. And yes, men can sew. As I said before, we went ahead and we got our transom light installed. That's wired all the way up. The wire, as you can see, is all the way run up to the dashboard up there. So yeah, there's all ready to go on that one, but it'll go in with a wiring harness and everything else. It'll follow that lead, so that's good to go there. And last but not least, we went ahead and put in our drain plug. Yeah, that had to be driven in, and I'm telling you, driven in. That's a tighty, and it's all filled with sealant, so there is going to be no rot that's going to come from this drain plug, that's for sure, unless somebody does something foolish to it, but that's in the future. And I can't predict the future, so. But that's pretty much it. As I said, the top is sitting right over here in a bag, ready to go. And being that it's the same exact top it's on that one over there, it wasn't so hard. But as I said, I want the actual straps to go to the trailer. I don't want them to go up underneath. I have to do that with a beezy, and that's pain. I really don't like it because, you know, half the time you got to get down on your hands and knees and crawl and all that stuff in the dirt, and I just don't like it. And as I said, when I'm working on this thing, it'll be really nice just to undo a couple straps and leave the rest of it just covered up. There's no reason to uncover it all the time because, I mean, it seems a little premature, but the reality is, I mean, between the leaves and the bird crap, I mean, I'd much rather have a top on it and just have it all sealed up. And for that matter, if it becomes necessary with a top on it, things can actually be stored in the boat if needed. So that would be my goal tomorrow, is actually to make sure it gets a top on it. And then from there, we're going to just continue on with what's in the boxes. And we're probably going to have to go order some stuff in the next few days because, like we said, we need a rub rail. That's one thing that definitely gets done. And I'll be honest with you, if the rub rail's put on, about 99% of the outside of the boat is done. And I'm not kidding. I mean, there's like nothing else besides the bow light and the transom shield, you know. So I mean, outside wise, it's about 99% done if I get a rub rail on it. So, but that's it for the night. I am done, and I will see you tomorrow. Gonna try it now? Like I said, that I can go. We're gonna cut this part out because it's so breathy. At least, that didn't work. We're going to do that all over again. One more time. As I said, I mean, I'm not complaining about the weather, of course, you know. Or am I? Alright. Let you catch up on the focusing. Let's do that again. I've already gone ahead and got one coat. That's not right. We're going to go from fumes. Again, from the same spot. Especially a high torque starter. I will have to look into this. That probably didn't make any sense at all. Alright, we did all our talking, so we know we can talk. Let's see if we can actually finish the sentence. And 3, 2, 1. Alright, I'm going to try this whole thing again and see if it works, since I know what I'm doing.